Sign up for PrizePicks using code NBAGoober for a 100% deposit match up to $100. Link is in the description. Sup, dude? Once upon a time, big men were banished to the paint where they were forced to grab rebounds and protect the hoop because they were too big and dumb to play on the perimeter. As time went by, big dudes became fed up with being stuck on the low block, so they started learning the skills of the little man. At first, they weren't very successful, but slowly, over time, the big boys perfected their guard-like skills, which created quite possibly the most dangerous type of player in the league, the unicorn. The unicorn is simply a 2K creative player. They're huge, light on their feet, and insanely skilled. There's a ton of them nowadays, and they just keep spawning in, becoming more ridiculous each time. Look at Victor Wembanyama. Dude's 7'5" with an 8-foot wingspan, pulling step-back threes like he's 6'2". If you showed someone from the 70s Victor highlights, they'd have a heart attack. NBA GMs league-wide would shoot a puppy in the head to have a guy like Victor on their team. Dudes like him with that type of size and skill can impact the game in so many ways. And in this video, I'll be talking about one of the NBA's first unicorns, Kevin Garnett. KG was a shredded 6'11" power forward who could do everything on the court. Kevin's best attribute was his D. He was super smart and always gave 100% on the defensive end. He moved like a much smaller man despite being nearly 7 foot. This allowed him to guard all areas of the court unlike most big men. His defensive versatility and passion earned him 12 all-defensive team selections, tied for second most ever. 9 of those selections were for the first team, which is tied with a few other players for the most ever. In addition to the all-defensive team selections, KG won Defensive Player of the Year in 2008. The guy was a monster. He's without a doubt a top 5 defender in league history. On offense, he wasn't as skilled as he was on defense, but he was still amazing. Because Garnett was a thin 6'11", he didn't typically dominate down low. Instead, he scored most of his buckets with his signature mid-range jumper. He paved the way for big dudes looking to stroke that thing. His high release made it so that he could get the shot off anywhere he wanted. It was nearly unblockable. Along with his J, Kevin could handle the ball like a guard and also make plays for his teammates. He was skilled in so many ways. After KG's defense, his second most important quality was his mouth. The big ticket was extremely passionate about the game of basketball. He took it very seriously. On the court, he didn't want to be friendly. He wanted to kill the other team. One of the ways he tried to gain an advantage was with trash talk, and this wasn't just average trash talk. Kevin was an asshole. For example, one game Joakim Noah was matched up with KG. KG hit his signature midi fadeaway on him, and Joakim was like, "Yo, Ticket, you need to teach me that move. It was tough." And Kevin responded with, "Get off my dick." And then there was that time Kevin got into it with Charlie Villanueva and called him a cancer patient. If you're unaware, Charlie has alopecia and can't grow hair. There's also the story involving Melo, but nobody knows what Kevin actually said to him. The two got into a fight mid-game, and allegedly it's because KG told Melo his wife Lala tasted like Honey Nut Cheerios. Kevin denies that he said that, stating he's more of a Frosted Flakes guy. Melo didn't let anyone know what Kevin said to him, but he said there are words you should never say to a friend. The argument was so heated it led to Melo waiting for KG after the game. But since then, they've settled their beef. With his intensity, skill, IQ, and size, KG had a very successful career. In his first 12 seasons, he played for Minnesota, and he dominated. He was a beast, but the Wolves failed miserably with building a team around him. In those 12 seasons, they got bounced in the first round 7 times and missed the playoffs entirely 4 times. They only had one good year, and that was the year the big ticket won MVP. In 2003-04, KG played every single game of the regular season, averaging 24 points, 5 assists, 14 rebounds, 1.5 steals, and 2 blocks a game, leading the T-Wolves to the 1 seed. In the playoffs, KG continued his dominance, playing close to 44 minutes a night, putting up similar numbers to the regular season. In the first round, they beat the Nuggets 4-1. In the second round, it was a lot more competitive, but they ended up beating the Kings in 7. And then in the Western Conference Finals, Kobe and Shaq came along and gave KG the business. Clearly, Minnesota was not working out, so in 2007, Kevin was traded to the Celtics for 5 players and 2 picks. In Boston, KG teamed up with Paul Pierce, Ray Allen, and Rajon Rondo, forming a very dangerous team. With the Celtics, he finally had some help and didn't have to do it all himself. KG's first season with Boston was extremely successful. He won Defensive Player of the Year and a ring. After winning that ring, he famously stated, "Anything's possible!" True dat. That moment was KG's peak. He finally made it to the top, and the basketball gods decided that it was his time to hang it up. The following season, he injured his knee and missed the entire playoffs. After that injury, he was never the same, eventually getting moved to Brooklyn, then back to Minnesota where he retired. The big ticket was an intense dude. He loved to compete, and he played with a lot of passion. He's one of the greatest two-way players of all time, as well as arguably the greatest trash talker. You know who else likes to talk trash? Dillon Brooks. But unlike KG, everyone hates Dillon because he's a pretty odd individual. You can click right there to watch the video I made on him. Thanks for watching this one. Bye, dude.